Hello, and thank you, Mr. Joe, for joining us on this episode, the podcast, Modern Revenue Architects. Joe Stefko from Stafco Consulting. I would love if you can introduce yourself to speak about um, your background, your some of the clients that you have had in the past, some exciting things that you can tell us. Yeah, so take it away. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that introduction, Luis. I really appreciate you. And no, our team of consultants and coaches enable companies to be more profitable. So we find actually increased cash flow, revenue, and cost savings for our clients. My experience goes back 30 years in manufacturing and supply chain. But we also have healthcare clients, large hospital and healthcare systems that really need the revenue cycle management assistance. And we have great services and software to help that also. But my specialty is really in continuous improvement and cost savings, and really to get to the root of where the opportunities lie. And we start really with leadership development. So understanding leadership development, understanding the culture of the organization, it drives the values and the overall mission and vision. So that's really the holistic approach we do when we're either helping with private equity and merger and acquisitions, or individual companies to be more profitable.
Nice. And in that sense, have you always worked with supply chain manufacturing? Is that where you started, or how did you delve into that avenue or that industry that you talk about? And I see in the properties that you have online, which we will share as well, there's a lot of that in the copy and the content.
Right. So I did start and work mostly in operations and engineering at manufacturing companies. So to understand the entire supply chain, from materials and purchasing all the way through the warehousing and storage of those materials, as well as manufacturing products and then distributing them throughout the world. Worked for and led multinational companies, international companies, making converted products for many different industries, from consumer products to security, printing, converting, adhesive coating and laminating and tape products, to many other different kinds of manufactured products. But we've also expanded into leadership development and coaching using the John Maxwell programs. And that really is fundamental, essential skills for emotional intelligence and building cultures and building strong teams. Everything rises and falls on leadership. That's a direct quote from John Maxwell. So we add value every day to our companies and clients.
And you met John. There's a picture on your website, so I'm sure that there's a license, there's a background in you developing or implementing those principles that he shares within the program. So I'm assuming as well that with this is an asset. This is something extra that you guys provide to companies, in which, with that knowledge, it's like if they were hiring John Maxwell, because you're applying the principles and the disciplines and the mechanisms that he recommends, correct?
Yes, he is our mentor, and it is our legacy, his legacy, that we're teaching others. So all of the very specific programs that we put together as coaches and trainers are very comprehensive, based on 40 plus years of his 91 books and masterminds, teaching companies about their, the 21 laws of leadership, and all of the different programs, whether it be business blind spots and doing workshops around, professional development and leadership assessments, as well as just being a better communicator, better speaker, a better boss in general. So yes, that is John Maxwell's legacy, is all the coaches and trainers that were mentored by him.
Beautiful. Yeah. That like I said, when we met before, I have some books from John Maxwell. I haven't read them all, but I have a little bit of a glimpse on some of the principles that he has. But obviously, you're the expert here. I was going to ask you, in that sense, when there's a company that hires you, is there a lot of time that they have to invest on your program, or it's more around maybe a few hours, or it depends on how the discovery goes with them, and how on the objectives that they have? And I'm asking these questions because sometimes there's a resistance of, oh yeah, I'm too busy, I don't want to invest in this program because I don't know, I don't have time. And then that's the one objection, or that where it might as well not be so much time, and this time is going to make the time better because you will be able to save time with efficiencies that you're going to help them with. And I'm assuming a bunch of things here, but I want to understand, and so that the audience that is going to be listening to this and looking at us, like, what's the model, what's the investment in terms of time that they will have to put in, which is the most valuable asset that we have?
Right. No, the investment in a discovery call is to really understand the unmet needs and the potential pain points that our clients have. And when we listen to our clients, whether it be leadership development, whether it be lean manufacturing and understanding waste in the organization, or very large cost savings and synergy programs for M&A, mergers and acquisitions, they all involved solving large problems. So when we define those pain points and unmet needs, and what we are trying to improve, mostly is financial gains, right? They're anytime you have a leader in a company that doesn't understand their cash flow or their profitability or their gross margins, we help them with that. We help them understand where the large problems are in the organization, where the leaky buckets are in their revenue cycle management, or their waste for their materials, really large knobs they turn in their organizations for cost and profitability. But it doesn't take long to find those projects, right? Those opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on for one second.
Yeah, no worries. That makes sense. So basically, big problems, solving big problems, waste, cash flow, profitability. So basically, the time invested in some discoveries and implementation is going to reap the rewards, because you're not solving small things, you're solving like big ones, which is what you mentioned.
That's right. So we put in place those solutions, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be the programs that identify those large waste. We characterize and measure the current state or value stream, right, of that supply chain, or those issues with cash flow and materials, the waste that we identify in lean manufacturing, but also on the essential skills, right? Understanding how to make better decisions, be a better communicator, and connect with employees, recruit and retain with health and wellness programs, and cost saving programs around health and wellness. We help companies with their, shipping and freight costs, just understanding the best rates they have. Inventory management, how much inventory should they have, and how could they minimize that with just in time, and turning more materials into finished products and revenue for their company.
Got it. That makes sense. And I'm curious about the shift of the industry on your end when the crazy times that we have lived in, like the COVID, or right now with tariffs and things like that. How important, and maybe that's something that everyone will say that it's super important, to make everything super efficient, the cost, there's no waste. So I think right now we're living in a time that everything is so expensive. Talent churns like crazy sometimes. Like you mentioned about health and wellness, to make employees sticky in the organization. I don't want them to be leaving, so that those programs will help me to retain that talent. So given the times that you have seen, because you have 30 plus years of experience in the space, there's the 2007 crisis, there's the COVID right now, tariffs. So how important is for a company right now to make sure everything is super tight in terms of their budgets?
Right. So first, I want to say that most of our clients are in North America. And to optimize North American businesses, whether it be manufacturing, supply chain, healthcare, consumer products, our advice is to be more vertically integrated between your materials that come into your process, to your manufacturing, to your distribution. You should have vertical integration within near sourcing in North America. Okay. And that optimizes the material costs and availability. So the cost structure of having something that's sourced, in Mexico, United States, or Canada is right now not just common sense. There's a large driving force to make that happen. So we help our clients to do that, to understand their supply chain and their assets that are in North America, to maximize the revenue, maximize their asset uptime and reduce downtime. Understand the usage of not only price variance for sourcing and pricing materials, but the utilization and efficiency of actually running them through their manufacturing and their distribution operations. We want to understand where those losses are coming from and eliminate them.
Love it. With this being said, when you mentioned vertically integrated, for someone that is not as keen in the language of the industry, what do you mean with the vertical integration? Is that something? I'm not gonna guess. I will just let you answer. Yeah.
So let's just talk about merger and acquisition. If you are a manufacturer of a vehicle, say a pickup truck, and you have the opportunity to merge with your supplier, merge with a supplier that feeds into the tier 1 parts that go into your truck. And then you could also merge with your distribution network, your dealer networks. That's vertical integration. When you control your materials going into your manufacturing, you control the efficiency and throughput, capacity of your actual manufacturing, as well as your inventory and your distribution. That's vertical integration. If you control all three of those things, then you dominate markets.
I mean, that makes sense.
Especially if you have some innovative new products and services that you're launching every year.
Got it. And speaking of innovation, I was going to ask you, because we cannot deny that there's this boom in AI. What is that you're, if there's anything that you're doing with yourself or your clients, implementing AI to discover some of the cost savings or some of the ways that they have. So are you guys putting in place some models, or what are you guys doing in terms of innovation there?
Absolutely. So engineers in general and operations leaders have had the leadership and foresight to use these tools, all the way going back into, lean manufacturing and understanding, Six Sigma modeling of processes and optimizing all the process variables. So this is not new to, innovators like engineers, scientists, to use modern tools for automation. Design tools, optimization of like process variables, and using AI tools to generate as much of the data and making sure you're not missing anything. So AI tools are very good for technical folks like myself and my team, so that we can actually optimize processes, understand the usage of materials and current assets to make sure that we're not missing anything through scheduling, through planning, through inventory management, to understand and troubleshoot downtime. All these AI tools are just amazing to do this. Whoever's fastest at understanding their supply chain and troubleshooting those issues with the vertical integration we talked about previously, or troubleshooting a problem in manufacturing, whoever troubleshoots and solves the problem and stops the waste from happening faster and generates more revenue per day, per month through their current assets wins. So why wouldn't we want to use the AI tools and reports to generate workflow automation? Right.
That makes sense. And yourself, I see that you guys use some suites like Go High Level and other enterprise softwares. Yourselves implement AI tools for yourselves, or what is it you do to acquire clients? You create content, or how do you get new clients yourself? Word of mouth?
Sure. Yeah, we do have a lot of referrals. We really leverage our strengths of our current clients to make sure that they understand all of our cost savings and continuous improvement tools. A lot of companies have under radar. It's not a focus for them to focus on continuous improvement or professional development or cost savings. Let me give you an example. So, on the hospital revenue cycle, there's payer contracts, right? That they're contractually obligated to pay for a certain procedure, and using these new AI tools and software programs, you can digitalize the actual payer contracts, compare to every remittance, every single one that the insurance companies are supposed to be paying, and find discrepancies. So using the latest and greatest software as a service and AI tools to understand that and generate an audit and a report to define what underpayment really is for hospital and health systems. That's just another great example of using these tools. Accounts payable automation, from digital invoicing all the way to pay. Automate that, through their enterprise resource planning software, both right on to their hierarchy for approvals, and then they get a rebate on everything that they spend using a virtual card. Those type of software as a service and fintech companies, they have been market leaders, and they are our partners to ensure our clients are reaping the largest benefit on their cash flow and profitability.
Mm-hmm. One thing I should say, and maybe you're a little bit like the best companies, they build themselves on referrals because they have the best methods and they have the best customer service and they have the best results. So maybe when you mention referrals, that's the best method that you can get You don't depend on running ads. You don't depend on like calling people, whatever, because you are in a state, and you might know that there's a lot of companies that if they turn off ads, they just go out of business, which is not sustainable. I just wanted to mention that because you might. It's just to put I'm putting yourself in a pedestal because of mentioning it, and you don't have to run ads to get clients. Basically, it's something that not every day you get to see, which it's great. And I wanted to double click in the AI. I know that there's limitations sometimes. What would you say in terms of your like forecasting, or maybe let's say that you thought about, because you know what's possible. You might thought about, you know what, like this should be possible in AI, whatever. What is that thing that if you had a magic wand, you would like for that to happen in your business? Let's say I wish this was possible for myself or for my clients. What would that be?
I think marketing awareness is still very valuable. How can we reach as many clients and companies as possible before they struggle? I personally, emotionally get upset. We had a situation here in Pennsylvania where Rite Aid Corporation just announced that they're going out of business, and they're headquartered here. If we used AI tools to get the companies, when they know they have a problem, and reverse their issue with profitability and cash flow, so they don't have to lay off people and they don't have to close their doors, that would be the amazing tool that AI could do right now, is breach the difference between the services we offer and the clients that really need it. So I'd say to expedite these AI marketing tools that are actually quite very good to heighten awareness and to understand and match the skill set of what we do to the unmet needs and pain points of our clients and companies.
Yeah, because when it's too late, it's too late. Like, not because if they're closing in 2 months or 30 days, like we could bring John Maxwell, we can bring anyone, and it's not going to save them, and it's too late already. And that's sad, because that's sometimes they are requesting or asking for help when it's too late. That's what I'm assuming now, because you might have people reaching out, but based on what you know, like it's not going to help them. You need time to implement your operations, it's like it's a vector. It goes up. It needs time to in the x-axis. Like it's not magic, so that makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah. So 5 years ago, if we would have had the match with Rite Aid Corporation to work on their wholesale, drug contracts, or their supply chain agreements, or their shipping costs, or their, health and wellness programs, where they could have reaped the benefits of having actual payroll savings for all their employees, those would have added up to tens of millions of dollars.
Imagine.
Could they have stayed afloat if they had an extra $15 to $50 million in revenue and cost savings? The answer is yes. It's obviously yes. Yeah. And that happens with even smaller companies, mid-market companies, where they're struggling with cash flow. They have to maybe lay off, a couple hundred people. What else could we have done to enable them to have a higher cash flow and achieve these cost savings, renegotiate contracts, and make sure that they're afloat, so they don't have to go out of business?
Yeah, that makes sense. That's from what I'm hearing, those hundreds of people layoffs are just like panic measures, because they see the cash flow going down and they don't know any better. Like that's when you come in as a mentor, as a coach. I love this. Are there any final remarks or final recommendations for anyone that is struggling, or anyone that finds our video and they are resonating? How can they contact you, or what do you recommend for them to start looking at on your behalf?
I mean, I would say that don't be shy with referrals. If we've helped clients that have had financial difficulties, or not optimized their manufacturing supply chain or healthcare organizations, don't be shy to actually give a referral to say to consulting and coaches like us at Stefco Consulting that we should at least have a conversation, a strategy call, discovery call. Our experts actually will, in 5 to 10 minutes, explain what the unmet need could be and how we can define the problem and solve it in weeks, right? And a lot of these programs don't have any upfront costs. To do an audit or to do an analysis, even to do lean manufacturing current state or value stream mapping is a very wise thing to do with a company that doesn't understand their overall waste and overall cost structure. The costs going through the financial organization and the margins they think they're getting through standard costs are not always what actually happens in their facility, in their warehouse. So that's really the final words is, let us be open-minded and have a abundant mindset to understand that there's a lot more out there, a lot more financial and cost savings and continuous improvement on the hard costs as well as the essential skills and soft costs of not having good communication or not having a good business culture, and not hiring the right people and building the right teams.
That's a good point. I want to ask you something else. I know, so it sounds like in supply chain, in manufacturing, it sounds a little bit more difficult that I'm assuming that what it could be for on a digital company, let's say a SaaS. Let's say, imagine that someone is watching this and they have a software as a service. They have remote employees. Would you be able to implement your techniques and the coaching into something that is not manufacturing? I'm going to assume that is way easier than supply chain, is way easier than healthcare. But I'll leave with that answer because there's so many companies that are having trouble that are online and SaaS softwares and things like that, and they need help as well.
Yes, and we could do so many different programs around communication and connecting with each other. That's one of John Maxwell's greatest programs, is actually everyone communicates but few connect. So we've done virtual masterminds with leadership teams and with managers and with different kinds of people to understand how to connect and communicate with each other. We've done business blind spots virtually to understand where they have their resources and where they're being innovators and where there's opportunities for growth and for improvement. Just understanding and having self-awareness and being stronger as a leader and emotionally intelligent is a big thing. It's what we do. Health and wellness, putting a health and wellness program in place that rides above and fills the gaps from their primary insurance. Having a great program that's actually a cost savings, doesn't cost anything to implement, is brilliant. But so many companies don't know about it. Most business leaders don't understand that they can have, urgent care, primary care, mental health counselors, all their prescriptions free, thousands of them, and have a weight health, no net cost to their employees, and you can have a payroll tax savings to implement it. Most people don't know that. So we want that awareness that we can do that even for SaaS companies, for really any company, even a retailer, right? Small retailers or pharmacies or even school districts. We can help really anyone when it comes to health and wellness and leadership development.
Makes absolute sense. And I just wanted to make sure that that's clear, because we talk about a lot of manufacture, a lot of healthcare, but in reality, it's something that accommodates you, any company. Have you found resistance from leaders to accept that they need help in the past? I'm just curious.
Yes, I mean, some people take defense to having maybe a consultant or coach come in, confidentially, right, and say these are 12 different cost saving programs that you may not be aware of, or maybe just under the radar for your cost structure. But when you have a team that can really focus on it and supplement the knowledge base of what all your employees and your managers, directors understand how to do, we supplement that with knowledge and really take that shortcut to increasing cash flow and profitability, which all companies need. They should have that trusted advisor, someone that really truly cares about them and wants them to be successful and grow as a leader.
Got it. And in your model, when somebody hires you, is it like a Deloitte model in which they just go in, you guys go in, have like a 9-week program and like a SWAT team that you fix the big problem and you go out? Or it's more around they love you and they say, you know what, Joe, I want you guys to stay around for a little bit longer. What's your experience there that you on the companies that you have helped implementing these solutions?
We have some projects that are contingency based. They're based on the result. And I think that's what differentiates us as consultants and coaches compared to the larger, consultant companies. They get paid by the hour. They do a project and give a PowerPoint presentation, a recommendation, but they don't actually get the work done. They don't actually achieve the revenue increase or the profitability increase. So we actually come in and we train them on how to do it. So we certify, say, lean manufacturing black belts. That's just another example, or Six Sigma black belts. We train them on how to use best practices, and we share with social media, like our improver.com and Improver University. Is that it enables them to actually understand their lean manufacturing, certify their management team, and then everyone in the organization is saying the same thing, using the same jargon and tools, best practices. It's one thing to actually say and make recommendations. It's another thing to actually empower them, train them, and make sure that they're sustaining their goals. Consistency compounds. That's another John Maxwell quote that's just brilliant. If we can train the next generations of leaders, that is compounding. So we don't want to just come in and actually make recommendations and do a PowerPoint presentation after 9 weeks. We want to actually enable the team to be very successful, to be stronger, self-sufficient leaders, and achieve the result. And that result is a win-win for the company and the employees.
I love it, and that's exactly what they do. I'm not gonna say names like McKinsey or BGC, but I think that's a big difference on what, like, the value proposition that you have versus those guys. Like they just like they have limited. I don't know how to say it, but they just see companies as as a number, and not as a challenge, or as something that you want to really help and be passionate about helping. As you were talking about this, I was looking at your testimonials, and there's not a single person not saying that Joe, like everyone is talking about Joe. Where in the hell there's a consulting company with a head participating on the actual problem of a small company, medium, large corporation? What they do in this firms, Deloitte and what have you, they just send consultants, and they don't care if the problem gets solved. They just do their, like you said, their presentation. They just do the work, and as they walk in, they walk out. And if it gets solved, good luck. If it doesn't, like, they don't care. I think that's like a huge difference on yourself and on the rest. I really enjoyed this conversation, Joe. I really thank you for the time and the insights that you provided. I wish you the best on your endeavors, and it was a pleasure having you. Thank you for giving your time for this initiative that we're having ourselves. And yeah, I don't know if there's any final thoughts. Otherwise, we can say farewell.
Yeah, my final thought is, first of all, thank you for allowing us to have this great positive conversation, to be able to build, stronger leaders, and to enable them to build relationships with each other. Without having strong, cultures in our businesses, and good communication skills and emotional intelligence, if we don't have all of those things, we don't catch our blind spots, and we don't enable the entire organization to be successful and be stronger. You just don't snap your fingers and create financial gains like increased cash flow and increased revenue and increased profitability and EBITDA. It happens by building strong culture, strong values, and strong teams first, and understanding the technical second, being innovative, and to solve big problems like we've talked about today.
That's exactly it. Thank you very much. I'll see you around, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks, Luis. Have a great day.